Hey folks, this is going to be an unboxing video, and I'm sure you can guess what might be in here. Something from Gold Tone. So you'll notice that, well, it may be hard to tell on the camera, but this is a very wide box. Wide enough to fit two instruments, in fact, because there should be two in here. So let's just take a quick look at the box. There's nothing too fancy about it. It has some in case of damage instructions. Unfortunately, the UPS person did leave this out in the rain, but I think it should be fine. But what brings upon this video is that Gold Tone had a Labor Day sale in 2025 where they had their, I think it was maybe not quite their entire store, but most of their store at 20% off of their MSRP prices, and I thought that was a good deal. Now, they didn't offer free shipping, so I did have to pay for shipping. Shipping was something like $60, so I don't know if they have better deals more often. But I thought the Labor Day one was pretty good. You know, I don't know if they have like 20% off and free shipping or something, but I thought 20% off just in general for new instruments was not bad. Now you can already see with this packing slip what is in here. We've got two banjos. One is one that's been out for a while, and one is kind of a newer one. So we've got the AC-5+1S, basically the introductory level 5-string banjo with an extra string, the 5+1 in the old-time style with a scoop. And then we've got the Gold Tone cello banjo as the 5-string. And I've never owned either of these. I've had a chance to play the cello banjo just once very briefly, and I was like, well, I'd like to get one. I don't really want to pay the retail price, but it would be good to get one anyways at some point, so getting it for a little bit of a bargain was definitely what I was interested in. And let's see. So right in the box here, well, you can see what we've got. You can see this AC-5+1 does not come with a hard case. Let's see if I can get this out. Because of course this is a, kind of a beginner's level sort of banjo, which is kind of interesting because it's, having that extra string really isn't quite a beginner's sort of thing, but nevertheless, that's how it comes. And then we've got the cello banjo in here, and that does come in a hard case. I'm gonna have to tip this box over to get that one out, I think. Hey folks, in this video I'm going to open up a fresh, brand new banjo that I bought directly from Gold Tone. And I can't remember the exact model, but it's the 5+1 composite model that they have. So I think they call that the AC-5+1S because it should have a scoop on the neck for old-time clawhammer playing. So it comes in, just this standard box here. Inside there should be a probably a fairly thin soft case for it. Of course, this is kind of among, as far as the quality of Gold Tone banjos go, this is kind of among their bottom tier, I would say. It's one of their kind of beginner type banjos, except that, interestingly, they have a model that, is a little bit more unique with the extra string and that sort of thing, which is pretty cool and keeps it more affordable. Now, I did order this with their 2025 Labor Day sale, which was 20% off of their instruments. I think they had most of their instruments 20% off. You still had to pay for shipping, but I thought that was a pretty good deal. I don't know if they ever have any better deals than that, but I was like, well, you know what? I'm saving $100 on this banjo. I will go ahead and buy it. And in the same large box, I also got this other banjo, which is the Gold Tone cello banjo, 5-string. That will be in a different video to take a look at that one. But this will be for, I think it's called, like I said, the AC-5+1S. So let's see. Let's go ahead and open it up. And of course I never know what the most effective way to open this is, but just flipped it around and we'll just try this end here. And I will zoom out here just so we can have a better view of the whole thing as we take a fresh look at this and see what it is like fresh out of the box. So let's see here. And I did order some extra banjo strings with my order. So I have 2 sets of banjo strings, and I think those are included here. That's right, a baritone set of strings, and then there should be under here another set, which will be for the cello banjo. I was going to try to order an extra set for this one too, but unfortunately they didn't have any in stock at the time, so I will have to get those sometime a little later. But this is how they packaged it. This is pretty nice to have for, just safety and everything. But first impression of the bag, it's just a very thin style of carry bag. I guess I wasn't expecting anything too fancy with it, and it sure isn't very fancy, but that's kind of okay, I guess. This is definitely designed to be a beginner's banjo, and it's not really meant for a player who is well versed in it, I suppose. Let's see what we get in here. And this is the same that they had with the cello banjo as well. They probably give this sheet with every banjo that they sell these days, but banjo maintenance. So we have that. I'll set that off to the side for now. Let's see if there's, we do have one of these in there just for doing a little bit of work on the instrument if you need to. I'm just going to feel around if there is anything else. We do also have this in here. Yeah, so this is kind of standard stuff that they include probably with every banjo that they sell. So that's nice. So the price of this banjo, the retail price is $4.99 in August of September of 2025 when I ordered this. Maybe kind of pricey, for kind of a beginner type banjo, but of course this is a 5+1 banjo, so it's a little bit more special than, just your regular 5-string. They do have much cheaper, just 5 strings with this same AC style, this composite style. So there are different options out there. This one's a little more expensive because it's a little bit of a special banjo. Interestingly, though, Gold Tone at this time does not have a, kind of more of a mid or professional range type of 5+1 banjo. They did in the past have a 5+1 banjo that was a little bit more higher end, and that got discontinued for, whatever reason, I'm not sure. But so now they have this one, and since I got this for 20% off, I got it for $400, and I thought for a brand new instrument that I have been very curious to try out, not necessarily a Gold Tone one, but I've always really wanted to just play around with a 5+1 banjo, and that's probably not a good thing for me to do. Let me just set that down safely here, just so I can move this box out of the way, and then we can take a look at the banjo. Okay, so the box is out of the way. It's time to do the grand unveiling of this banjo and see what it is all about. So we are going to open it up here. And again, very thin case, very, there is nothing fancy about it, very thin. And that's just how it is. But here's what we get inside, and you know what? This is, first impression wise, this is a little better than I was expecting, to be honest. But we got to take a full look at it. It's kind of like everything. This part looks really nice. I think the head looks really nice, and then the sides of it, this part is a little bit more kind of standard, I guess, kind of introductory level. But let's see. And now I've been playing banjo for myself for, 25 some years. So, definitely I could buy a more quality banjo than this and be happy with it. But this is sort of a little bit like a novelty for me, the 5+1 thing with the extra string, as I'm sure it is for most people, and maybe that's why they decided to make this type of model, just because, you know, most people that play the 5-string banjo just want to have a really nice 5-string banjo, but they might want to have this just for the general novelty of trying out the 5+1 thing. So I'm just gonna kind of close this up. This is not easy to do with just one hand, of course, but I'm just gonna kind of set this down on the case and we can take a look at it. It comes with a armrest, which is nice, and it seems like a fairly good quality one. I don't think that all of the of these AC banjos actually do come with an armrest. Probably some do, some don't. I like the head. It's seems like really nice. In fact, I think this is the same type of head that they have installed on the cello banjo, and maybe I'll just show you that real quick. You can see it's got the same look to it. So, and I don't know what how big the head is. It almost looks like this might be a 12-inch actually. In fact, it probably is, because I just noticing how high up the, far up the bridge is. This is probably a 12-inch head, excuse me. But we'll take a look at some of the specs. I just wanted to kind of show you what this looks like fresh out of the box. And yeah, my first impressions of it are pretty positive. It just looks nice and fresh and clean, as a new banjo should, but yeah, it's a good design. The only thing I don't like right off the bat, this being like a nice old-time banjo, kind of the preference among old-time banjo players, as far as I know, is not to be too fancy with some of the, the headstock decorations and things. Everybody has their own preferences. I do like that it has a little star there. That's pretty neat. But getting rid of the yellow gold tone lettering, I think, would be good, actually. That would be nice if it didn't have that. Or, if it said gold tone, make it white or something that's just a little less jumpy than, it just doesn't quite match with the rest of it. Very minor, but that's just, it's just kind of a personal taste preference. Look into the bottom here. It's got one coordinator rod there. And otherwise, it's pretty plain stuff in here. It doesn't have it doesn't have like a tone ring or anything like that. So pretty bare bones there. And you go up the neck here. It feels good, but of course it's that it's that composite material. I don't know what that is exactly, but that means it's probably just not a solid wood. And you got the tuning pegs here, which at first impression, it seems kind of like the standard type that they use, but neat that they used black, and they should be good enough quality. So let's maybe set this down once. Not quite in tune, but it's not too far off either. And it sounds pretty good, honestly, with the first strum. Just the overall sound I'm getting from it. Seems like it projects well enough. But let me just kind of play around with setting this up just a little bit, and we'll play a few notes on it. All right, folks, I've got the banjo tuned up and ready to play. I've had this out of the box now for 1 day, so the first part of this video that you saw I filmed yesterday, and then I've been playing with it just a little bit, and I tuned it up and made sure it's in good tune. And other than that, I haven't done anything else to it, because I want to show you it as it is out of the box. But I've had it for 1 day, and yeah, happy to show it to you. And I just before this finished making the video portion for the cello banjo that I also got, so you can watch both of these if you'd like. But yeah, this is what we got, and maybe I'll just give you a good kind of top-down look at it. Just so you can see it, all the details and everything. We'll turn it around and go up this way. I believe that there is a sticker hiding in there as well. So I'm going to go through and just read off the stats of this, or the specifications from their website at Gold Tone, which I have on my phone here. So we'll start with the headstock. So it's got black buttons on the tuners, which I actually really like. It matches well, and yeah, the type of tuners on here are the Gold Tone Planetary, which is a pretty, that's standard. They put this on a lot of their banjos. It's nothing super great about it, but nothing bad either. It certainly does the job. They feel a little, just a little, I suppose, cheap-ish, but not bad. And yeah, and I think the black color that they chose for this was a good call. I think it looks good. Just matches with the overall theme of it. So well done with that. Nut width 1 3/4 inch with a zero glide nut up here, and I like that they're doing that even on these cheaper banjos. These what they call composite banjos are kind of their introductory level line of banjos, and they're actually putting some some neat little extras on this that I wasn't really expecting, and I'm happy about that. It's really nice for a beginning banjo player to get a few extra little trinkets than just the very, very bare bones, because they deserve some fun with a fairly reasonable price. So the fingerboard is rosewood, and I gotta say I really like the fingerboard. It looks great, it feels good, and I actually like the decorations they put on here too. I mean, there's nothing special about them, they're just dots, but they did put the little star on the 5th fret, just a nice little touch. So we have that kind of old-timey looking, which is nice. Inlay dot with star. Material is NATO, so this, I don't know if I said it right in the first part of this video, but the wood, so the neck is made out of this NATO wood, which I guess is kind of a a cheaper type of wood. So I suppose that this is a solid wood piece, and it is painted black. And the finish of it, I like it. It's nice and smooth. It just feels great for a beginner banjo, absolutely. So we have that. We've got 22 frets, pretty standard there. Two-way adjustable truss rod. Let's see. So yeah, and then we've got the body. So the armrest, it says black wooden fits all. So let's talk about the armrest real quick. That is included here. I'll just show you that. It feels really good to me, honestly, and yeah, it's nice that they included that. It just feels good. So this is a good quality armrest. I have no complaints with that at all. That's really nice, and the black looks nice. Binding is black ABS, so yeah, there is that, all that kind of stuff. Brackets, there are 16, so yeah, not too many brackets on this. It's it's a lower end banjo, but I gotta say the head feels it's nice and tight and solid. I got no problems with that. What do we got? Bridge, maple with an ebony cap. The bridge feels good to me. Could you put a better bridge on this? Sure, but you're gonna have to get one. Well, you probably have to get a 6-string banjo bridge and maybe custom made for, I don't know if I'd bother with this kind of banjo. The one they included, it's pretty darn nice for the price that you pay. I think this does a good job. So there's that. Coordinator rods, single 12-inch. Finish is black and in satin color. Hardware is chrome plated. The head is the 12-inch Remo LC Renaissance, and I gotta say I do like this banjo head. I haven't had this on any other banjo that I've owned except for now the cello banjo, but I like the look of it, the feel of it. It's a good it's just a good general banjo head, and the hue of it and everything, for this being kind of an old-timey banjo, it just looks really good to me, so I think they did great with that. Rim is 12-inch composite, so whatever the material is, this rim is not wood at all. This is, you know, it definitely feels like some sort of plasticky type whatever. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's not wood. Could have fooled me from originally looking at it, I guess, because they made the black finish on this. It all looks exactly the same. So, but yeah, this is the composite part of this. It's a very thin rim, and they do have like a little indent right here, so that kind of mimics, like, I guess, a tone ring a little bit, just a little bit. There's no tone ring in here at all, but kind of mimics it just a touch. And however they do it, it packs a punch, actually. And I've seen other YouTube videos of like the 5-string versions of these, and they sound really good for the money. They really do. So tailpiece, vintage style tailpiece. I generally like the tailpiece. I kind of wish, you know, they've got the 2 strings in the center coming out of this. I kind of wish they would just make one specifically for the 6-string instead of just using a 5-string one. But very, very minor comment there. I think this one, you know, it looks good and it does the job, so that's good. Tension hoop, 12-inch flat bar. So we have that, just pretty standard. Scale length, 26 3/16 inches, so, you know, pretty standard stuff there. We have that. Weight is 5.5 pounds. It's a pretty light banjo, honestly. It's got a little bit of weight to it, but it's pretty light. Talked about the bag that's included. The strings that they put on it are going this way, 0.10, 0.42, let's see, I'm saying this wrong, I think. So 0.10, 0.042, 0.024, 0.015, 0.012, and 0.010. There we go. I got through that somehow. Then, of course, your tuning is your standard 5-string banjo tuning. Let's see. With the extra low G string. I think I'm already out of tune just slightly, but yeah, we'll try playing something anyway. Now, they do make this in a couple different styles. They've got the version that I bought, which has the scoop cut out right here, which is what old-time players like. So that's why I decided to get this. They do make another one that has the frets coming all the way up. So I said that this was, I think I said that this is 22 fret. That's probably not accurate because of the scoop, but if you got the version without the scoop, it would be that. But I decided to get the one with the scoop because if you get the version without the scoop, it's pretty much exactly the same, just without the scoop. And to me, since they don't make a version of this 5+1 with a resonator, this to me is an old-timey banjo, and that's what I'm going to use it for, so I figured I'd get with the scoop. And so with that said, I guess we'll just try playing a few notes. I'll play some clawhammer stuff and some kind of bluegrassy stuff just to try to test all the different sounds you can get from it. And here we go. Now, for old-time banjo playing, I don't usually prefer to play in an open G tuning, so I'm gonna play. I'm going to tune this a couple different times probably just to give you guys, kind of the different vibes with different tunings. But before doing that, I'll kind of try to play a little bit more of the kind of Scruggsy style stuff and see if we can get any of those kind of sounds out of this a little bit. So yeah, you can get some Scruggsy tones out of this. Yeah, it kind of feels a little bit tall up here with just the way they have this set up for the scoop and everything. Definitely meant for more of the old-timey playing. But, if you get the version without the scoop, I bet they'll set it up different so you can do a little bit more of that. But I'm really, I'm impressed with how much sound comes out of this for what it is, being a beginner model banjo. So kudos to Gold Tone for making something good that's, semi-affordable. So I'm going to change the tuning up a little bit and we'll play a little bit more clawhammer stuff. Alright, so now I've got it in the sawmill tuning. And my apologies, before I was tuned a little bit flat. I actually didn't, I guess I tuned the cello banjo with the tuner, but I just kind of tuned this by ear and got it close to good relative tuning, but not actually to pitch. But now it's in tune in sawmill tuning, so I guess let's try just a little bit of clawhammer in this tuning, which I kind of prefer for old-time clawhammer style. So. Okay, so now I got it in a kind of a weirder tuning, kind of keeping the sawmill on these top three. Actually the top four, but then tuning these two down. so that I can try and play in a little bit of F sort of thing, I guess. This is fun because with that extra string you can do a lot more odd tuning experimentation, so it's just kind of fun to tinker around with, you know, just whatever. So I don't know, something kind of F-ish in this weird tuning. So yeah, that is basically a look at this, and pretty cool. I've got just a couple, yeah, I gotta get into, I guess, the pricing and then just some overall final thoughts about it. So the pricing, the price was, what I paid for it was about $400 plus, you know, the shipping and tax or whatever. So 20% off from Gold Tone's website for their Labor Day special. Otherwise, it's normally, you know, $499.99 as of September 2025. And much like I said about the cello banjo, I think that the 20% off is what got me to buy it. It got it down to a price that I thought was kind of, in my opinion, kind of about fair. Would have liked to, I guess, buy this somewhere in the 300s, I suppose. Just being the beginner type of material banjo that this is, you know, when I'm trying to slide or something, it makes that kind of scratchy, kind of, you know, it just isn't really good. So this is definitely a beginner banjo, but a nice beginner banjo. And I do like, I think I said this before, but I like that Gold Tone is making some of these more unique options available for their beginner level banjos, because it's just kind of cool. No one else is doing that. They're making, you know, they make long neck versions. They're making regular 5 strings with, you know, a 12-inch pot, which like I said, I think this is a 12-inch pot on this one. And just other, you know, they're making like mini banjos in this composite style, all kinds of different things like that. So I think that's really cool. So the setup of this banjo, well, actually before I get to that, let me just finish on the price. The price of $400 is about what I would want to pay for this being brand new. I wouldn't want to pay the $500. I think that's a little high for a beginner model banjo. Even though it's as unique as it is, that's too expensive. $400 is actually at the top end of what I think is acceptable for this. Somewhere in the 300s I'd be more happy with, even being brand new, I guess. But, you know, I'll give it to him for $400. I would, you know, these days I'm trying to buy instruments used to save a buck or two, and if we could find one of these used, and, you know, maybe for like $300 you could find one used, perhaps. I haven't seen these used anywhere yet, but they're new. These are... Did these come out just this year in 2025, this particular model? I don't know, but very recent anyways. And so, while they're just not on the market yet, any used ones, people haven't bought them and decided they don't like them and so forth, so they'll be coming at some point. And I always suggest buying used to save a buck or two, but if you can find this online or anywhere for the $400, like a 20% off sale or something like that, like I got for buying it brand new, well, that's not too bad. I don't feel I don't feel like I paid too much necessarily. Maybe just a touch, maybe, but I'm cool with it. So other thing is the setup of this out of the box is pretty good. It feels nice and tight. There's nothing that feels loose or anything like that. It was almost perfectly well, not perfectly, but it was almost in tune when I got it too, which was good. And, you know, the bridge is in the right place. That's it sounds good and in tune all the way up and down the neck. So that's great. You don't have to worry about that, which is really, you know, for a beginner who would be buying a banjo like this, that's kind of critical. You're not going to know what you're doing adjusting this back and forth. So getting it in the box and this is in the right place, it hasn't moved. So that's really great. There is one notable flaw that I am not happy with really at all, and it just kind of highlights some of the cheap material they've used, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick up on this well or not. Maybe not. But some of actually all of the washers that are around here, they're all corroding. They're all rusty, and literally this is one day out of the box and it looks like that. And even just in here a little bit, there's a little bit of that going on, but it's mostly just these washers going all around. They're all, and I mean all of them, they have rust on them. And that is, well, it just shows that they've used poorer parts for that, very cheap parts. Or maybe there was some damage with them. I think you guys can probably see that, like just the rust that is on these washers. And it's not, you know, it's not any of these other parts, it's just the little washers, so it's very minor, and I'm not gonna, you know, send this back or anything, absolutely not, because it's such a minor thing. It's gonna be more like someday if I want to adjust the head or something and I'm actually undoing all these, that I would probably go to the hardware store and get some new washers for it and just put them on. Not a huge deal, but to get that brand new out of the box and they are literally all rusty, not too happy about that, to be honest. That's, you know, this is supposed to be a brand new banjo. But aside from that, you know, it's really good. It's very good. So, like, literally, that's my only minor complaint, and it is, well, it's kind of minor. It's not really, it's minor to moderate, I guess. Because I really don't think that should be a thing on a brand new banjo, but sure enough, it is there. But otherwise, I think those are kind of the main points. So there it is, the Gold Tone. So this is the, I gotta read it here because in the sticker, the AC-5+1S with the scoop. So just to wrap this up with my final thoughts, like I am overall happy with this banjo. Maybe even with the 20% sale, I feel like I paid just maybe a touch more than I personally think this is worth. I think somewhere in the 300s. That's the golden ticket, but for $400, I'm pleased with it, and I think it's really cool again that Gold Tone is making some of these unique types of banjos for beginners. To get them into just having fun with something that's even, you know, not even just a straight up 5-string. I mentioned, I think, that Gold Tone at one point did make a bit more fancy 5+1 model that they no longer are making, and I think they actually used a really big 14-inch pot on that, like the cello banjo. I may be mistaken on that, but I think it used a really big pot, but yeah, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool, I guess, if they reintroduced some sort of, you know, higher end 5+1. The thing is, if you want to get a 5+1 banjo and, you know, from anywhere else that isn't Gold Tone, you are basically limited to more of the, you know, I guess the specialty builders out there. You know, you will pay a high premium for a very high quality banjo if you know, you can buy from, like, you know, Pisca and do a custom order with them, or, you know, some of the other ones out there. There's a lot of people that will make you a very, very nice 5+1 banjo, but then you're talking in the thousands of dollars, right? So other than this, you know, I think this is actually the only affordable 5+1 banjo out there right now, currently, as of September 2025. So it's, you know, this is kind of the one to buy because there just aren't any other options unless you buy something used or something. But even a used 5+1 from some other maker is probably going to be made in America, very high quality, and very high dollars that you'll have to pay. Unless you find one of those discontinued Gold Tone 5+1s that they did make for a time. But, you yeah, so anyways, with that all said, kudos to Gold Tone for making a beginner's model 5+1. Maybe they'll consider making a sort of higher end one. That's still sort of affordable at some point. I don't know, but there it was. I think I've exhausted myself of anything else to say about this, but I just wanted to show you it because why not? And let's put it back in the case. All right, I'm gonna put this back in the case now, and I am definitely not gonna try and just do this. Let's see, maybe I can actually do this one-handed. I don't know. Well, let's see if I can kind of finagle this in here without having to edit the video. I don't know. There we go. I kind of got it. So there we go. It's kind of a snug little fit in there. Got to move it around a little bit once it's in there, but once it is, let's see. I'm just gonna set that down for 1 second while I zip it up just a little bit. So we'll zip that up and all the way over here. And just one quick last look at the gig bag that is included. And, you know, very standard for a beginner banjo. It's nice because it has these little backpack straps on it. Perfect if you're, you know, going to, you know, some sort of festival or something and you're going to walk distance. So I like that it includes that even with this beginner style bag. But like I said, it definitely is a very, very thin bag. You know, probably if you want to keep this banjo and you're kind of worried about it not just getting any sort of major damage or anything, you might consider getting a different type of case for it. But in any case, it's good that they at least included this little carry bag. So there it was. I think that's about it for this video. I appreciate you folks watching, and I hope you enjoyed it and get a little idea of what it's like to get this type of Gold Tone banjo in September of 2024 at least. So that's my review. Pretty good, and have a good day.